The early days of cosplay, if you wanted to dress up as your favorite character from an anime, game, or movie, you had to get creative. Before the days of easily accessible sewing patterns, commercialized industrial tools, and high-quality synthetic wigs, cosplayers had to rely on grainy reference photos and pure determination to bring their ideas to life. If you have a look at cosplay photos from early conventions, you'll see that cosplayers were in the trenches. And yet, they still slayed. Alongside the exponential growth in online shopping, the late 2010s has seen a massive boom in easily accessible and high-quality cosplay materials. Nowadays, high-quality wig, costumes, and supplies are just a click away, with thousands of different characters from different franchises to choose from. But this rise in quality and quantity of cosplays in the cosplay community has caused a real issue with fast fashion. Pop culture trends come and go super quickly, and with companies being able to churn out loads of different costumes very quickly, cosplayers are more inclined to go and buy the costume, wear it once, and then discard it to the back of their closet. If you're a big enough influencer and you get sent these costumes for free, this isn't always a problem. But for the rest of us, if you want to pursue your cosplay dreams of cosplaying your favorite character, you might put a big dent in your wallet. But in taking inspiration from the cosplayers of the early 2000s, there are so many ways to cosplay your favorite characters without having to take out a mortgage for high quality cosplays and materials. In this video, I'm going to be sharing some tips that I've learned and I've seen from other people about how you can cosplay your favorite characters without having to break the bank. The first and most economical way of cosplaying is closet cosplay. This literally just means using items that you already have and wear regularly to cosplay a character, which means it's free. A lot of school uniform cosplays can be recreated by using dress shirts, ties, and blazers that you already own, and if a character has a particularly stylized look, try looking up if they have any alternate outfits. For example, Madoka from Madoka Magica has all of these incredible outfits, like her magical girl outfit and her final god form, but she also has an outfit where she just wears a plain white dress, and you can recreate that if you just have a white dress in your closet. You'll find that an awful lot of characters will have a casual look that you can very easily recreate, and if you can't afford to fork out for these really intricate cosplays, this is a really good chance to be able to cosplay your favorite character. If you don't have wigs, you can use your own hair. Obviously, depending on your hair type and style and the character that you want to cosplay, using your own hair can be a little bit challenging, but one way that everybody can use their own hair and still look like the character is through hair accessories. Using easily recognizable accessories like hats, bandanas, and hair clips can be a really good way of pointing to the character without actually owning their wig. For example, I made this hair clip for Naho by literally just using some pins, gluing them in the shape, and painting it red. Does it look professional and high quality? No, but it was free. Speaking of Naho and the way I'm dressed, I chose to do this cosplay for this video because this is like the thriftiest cosplay I've done in a while. Steal my look. This is just a dress shirt that I already owned. I got this blazer off of Vinted, which I'm going to use for various other things. This is my old school tie. I already owned these glasses from a different cosplay, so the only thing I actually bought for this was the wig, which it's lovely and I'm going to use it for other things, so economical. The next thing I'm going to move on to is thrifting. Now, I feel like in this age of overconsumption from both factories and consumers, we forget the value of secondhand clothing. Not only are you saving money by getting a bunch of materials at a heavily discounted price, you're also saving the planet by not contributing to a bunch of microplastics going in a landfill. If in-person shopping is more your thing, try going to a bunch of thrift stores and charity shops and seeing what they've got there. This can be especially helpful for things like shoes. If you're not planning on wearing these shoes for much other than the cosplay, getting secondhand shoes can save you so much money, and if they're a little bit worn, you can just paint over them. It doesn't matter, you're not wearing them all the time. If online shopping is more your thing, which I think it is for most people, there are a ton of websites worldwide that you can find a bunch of heavily discounted cosplays and materials on. I know Depop is pretty popular worldwide, and there are some regional ones like Mercari in the US, I think, but in the UK, Vinted tends to be the most preferable one. This is hashtag not spawn, but I do really like Vinted for buying cosplays. It's really easy to use the search functions to find different sizes and different cosplays that you want, and people are selling whole cosplays on there for such a heavily discounted price. If you want to cosplay from an older piece of media that people have been cosplaying from for several years, definitely have a look at some online shops because people will be selling them now that they don't want them anymore, and that is your profit. Also, don't be afraid to buy cosplays that have some defect or are a little bit broken and fix them up yourself. If a cosplay has a hole in it, or a small stain or a missing button, those are easy fixes, and oftentimes they'll be discounted heavily because they are defective, meaning you could spend so much money when all you have to do is sew on a button or use a washing machine. One thing you do need to remember though when you are shopping online for secondhand stuff is not being scammed by those resellers. These are the people that buy in bulk off of websites like Shein and then they resell them on places like Vinted for a much heftier price than they pay. Adi Harajuku made a really good video about this, which I will link in the description, so full credit to her. But a good way to make sure that you're not being scammed by one of these resellers is by reverse image searching the best image you can find of the listing on somewhere like Vinted or Depop. This will then show where this item is also being sold and you can see if it's coming from somewhere like Shein. Make sure your money is going on good clothes. Another thing you might want to think about when you're doing cosplay on a budget is multi-purpose item. You can spend a lot of money on one particular cosplay that you can't really use anything for anything else. But if you buy an item that can be used for a bunch of different cosplays, like a school uniform or even something just like a blazer or a skirt, you can make that stretch across loads of different cosplays. One of my favorite things to do is to buy the school uniform for an anime that I really enjoy. Like I've done this for Classroom of the Elite, Uma Musume. Can you tell I like Uma Musume? And you can cosplay loads of different characters by just getting the wig for each individual character. But even beyond canon cosplays that can be used for different characters, you want to invest in pieces that can be used across multiple different outfits. For example, the blazer that I'm wearing, obviously I bought for Naho, but I can definitely use this for a bunch of other characters, like maybe Louis from Beastars. Wigs are also excellent multi-purpose items because you can jazz them up in different styles with different accessories any way you want. If you really want to make your wigs go as far as possible, you can just buy a few colours like blonde, brown, red or blue, and you can jazz them up all sorts of ways, trim them, style them, and they can go as far as you want them to. Now, moving on to a slightly different topic, if you want to cosplay a character that's got this really intricate gun or mask or something, never underestimate the power of a bit of cardboard and some paint. Props can be some of the easiest things that you can make at home for free because you can use random supplies to make pretty much anything. Now, if you want to have some really high quality props, you're probably going to need like a 3D printer, some resin, or like EVA foam that costs £1,000,000. But if you want something that's just serviceable and does the job, you can make those at home with anything that you have and a little bit of paint. Masks are some of the easiest things to make because all you really need is a bit of cardboard and the design either printed or drawn on the front, and that works exactly fine. Obviously, making things like massive hammers and weaponry can be really difficult, but you can recreate the shapes of different props by using things like tinfoil, boxes, or even just random scraps that you glued together. Don't be afraid for things to look homemade or a little bit shit. I think the fact that now 3D printers and resin molds and stuff are so easily accessible and you can get all of these designs online, it can feel like the most important thing in the world to have all of your props be the most high quality thing you've ever seen. But really, if you just want to express yourself, you can do that with a bit of tinfoil. It will be alright. If you're someone like me that likes to make cosplay videos at home and sort of make vertical short form content, you'll know that what's on your face is usually more important than what's on your body. The right makeup look for a cosplay can completely transform it, and you don't need loads of expensive makeup to be able to achieve this. A lot of makeup items are really versatile and can be used for multiple steps in your makeup look. If you're someone that's just trying to make your makeup go further because you're on a budget, it's really important to invest in the right sorts of things that you can use for any part of your makeup. Take a shot every time I say makeup. A good eyeshadow palette can do you a whole face if you're brave enough. A palette with a good assortment of colours will have you sorted for the rest of time. You can use browns and blacks or any colours to fill in your eyebrows, and you can also use browns to do things like contour and bronzer. And honestly, with a little bit of Vaseline, you can use eyeshadow to do any type of lipstick. With just a coat of lip gloss on the top, you won't really know the difference. With lipstick in mind, if you do want to invest in lipstick, you only really need 3 good colours to cover all of your bases: a black, a red, and a pink shade of your choice. Red and pink lipsticks can be used for blush, and black you can use for almost anything. You can use it with an angled brush for eyeliner, or if you're doing face paint, you can use it for any kind of design you want to draw on your face. A good nudish lipstick that suits you can do wonders for you, because if you don't want to do any stylized lipstick, you can use that for absolutely any makeup look. And finally, a good small set of brushes can take you a long way. If you're not looking for anything fancy and just want your makeup to go as far as you can take it, you only really need a few brushes to make that look a reality. 1 or 2 decent eyeshadow brushes, some larger ones for blush and contour, and an angle brush is all you really need. An angle brush is actually probably one of the most important things because you can use that for anything. I use my angle brush to do my eyebrows, I can use it to do eyeliner if I don't want to use an actual eyeliner, and if you're doing any kind of lipstick that requires you having different shapes around your mouth, it is the perfect shape for it. TLDR. I love my angle brush. I think the overarching message of this video is get creative. I think the commercialization of cosplay through the online shopping and fast fashion boom of the late 2010s, as well as the massive boom in cosplay in general in 2020, we forget that cosplay is about having fun. The rise in influencer culture means we see a bunch of people in really high quality cosplays and wigs, and it can feel like in order to be an adequate cosplayer, you need to have the most expensive gear, and that's just not true. Everybody knows what I mean when I say the 2020 cosplay style. Really heavy, stylized makeup with loads of eyeliner and blush, a bunch of accessories like those hats, candy bracelets, butterfly clips, and everyone looks back on it as being kind of cringy because they weren't following beauty standards. But that's exactly what cosplay is about. Cosplay is all about embracing the love that you have for a franchise or character by expressing yourself through costume, and that can be any way that you want it to be. You are not entering a lookalike contest or auditioning for a live action or something. 2020 cosplayers didn't give a shit about lore accuracy or looking a certain way, they were just having fun. And that's the important part of cosplay, it's supposed to be fun. I too still have a pot of butterfly clips that sits in the back of a drawer somewhere, and I cannot quite bring myself to get rid of it because even though the photos of me using them do make me hurt a little bit on the inside, reminds me of a simpler time when we all just expressed ourselves the way we wanted to. And I think it's very important to embrace the play part of cosplay instead of just the cos bit. And that brings me to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it potentially inspired you to get creative with cosplay instead of forking out your entire life savings for the entire Doki Doki catalogue, because that's not necessary. You can have fun without it. If you liked this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I post new cosplay YouTube shorts every day, and obviously I'm hoping to put out more long-form content. I've really enjoyed making this, so I look forward to making my next one very soon. Obviously, I'm very new to making content like this, so any feedback is highly appreciated. A very big thank you to all of you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye! So instead of making some shitty cringe compilation about those 2020 cosplayers and being like, haha, they drew lines on their face and they drank Monster, maybe realize that they were having more fun than you ever will.